General Kehla Sithole served as the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service from 2017 until 2022, stepping down after discussions with President Cyril Ramaphosa. Born in Standerton, Mpumalanga, he completed his high school education at Makhosana High School in KwaNdebele, graduating in 1984. Sithole's career in law enforcement began in 1986 during the apartheid era when he joined the South African Police as a constable. Initially stationed with the armed police in the Orange Free State, he quickly transitioned to a role as a detective in Johannesburg, and by 1989 he was commissioned as a lieutenant through a special program, taking charge in the anti-burglary section of the Johannesburg Police. Between 1992 and 1995, he worked across multiple police stations in the Northern Province and Pretoria, gaining valuable experience in various capacities. His rise continued when, in 1996, he was appointed as senior manager with the rank of captain. By 2000, he achieved the rank of assistant commissioner in Mpumalanga. His career continued to flourish, leading to his role as Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Human Resources Management in the Northern Cape in 2006. In 2010, he replicated this position in the Free State. From 2011 to 2013, he served as the Provincial Commissioner of the Free State as a Lieutenant General before being appointed Deputy National Commissioner of Policing on October 1, 2013. Sithole took on the role of Divisional Commissioner of Protection and Security Services on March 1, 2016. His journey culminated in his appointment as National Commissioner of the SAPS by former President Jacob Zuma on 22 November 2017. However, his tenure was fraught with challenges and controversy, particularly following a harsh ruling from Judge Norman Davis at the Gauteng High Court on January 13, 2021, which ultimately led to his departure from the position. Through a career marked by rapid ascent, challenges, and significant responsibility, General Sithole remains a complex figure in the landscape of South African policing, reflecting both dedication to service and the turmoil that often accompanies leadership in law enforcement. After a week marked by rampant looting, chaos, and widespread destruction in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, tensions between Police Minister Bheki Cele and National Police Commissioner Kehla Sithole came to light. An ANC Provincial Executive Committee member from KwaZulu-Natal shared insight on the Discord, expressing frustrations that it put tremendous pressure on Premier Sihle Zikalala. The Premier revealed that the aftermath of the unrest had inflicted over 10 billion rands in damages. This conflict is a stain on Zikalala's ambition for higher office. The rift between Cele and Sithole is detrimental. When one issues directives, the other fails to comply, the anonymous member said, illustrating the internal struggle that hampered effective crisis response. A senior police official backed up these claims, indicating that the feud hampered law enforcement's reaction to the violence. That's why officers showed up only when dawn broke, after Chris Hani Mall in Vosloorus was engulfed in flames, arriving to secure the area instead of confronting those responsible, the source noted. These orders came from Cele, as he emphasized that the priority was to avoid any loss of life during the turmoil. The conflict between Cele and Sithole first came to public attention in May 2021, when Cele accused Sithole of being irresponsible in a blistering letter and instructed him to undo 9 senior appointments. This letter, which was obtained by Mail and Guardian, created a lot of criticism regarding Cele's interference in police operations, effectively undermining Sithole's authority. Additionally, Cele sent Sithole another letter demanding disciplinary action against a senior officer accused of verbal misconduct during a high-level police meeting. The South African Police Union took exception to Cele's directives and reached out to President Ramaphosa, seeking his intervention in the rift, viewing it as a hindrance to crime-fighting efforts. Instructing a minister to police beaches during the COVID-19 lockdown and issue operational directives raises significant concerns, Sapu stated, a letter that was acknowledged by Ramaphosa's office. The Mail and Guardian also suggested that the unrest might signal the beginning of a campaign aimed at destabilizing the country. During a later national address, President Cyril Ramaphosa described the turmoil as part of an orchestrated plan and an assault on South Africa's constitutional democracy. The National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, co-chaired by the Police, Defence Force and State Security Agency, assured the public that it was aware of potential further violence and was working to address it. NetJoints, through its intelligence coordination, came across disturbing messages circulating on various social media platforms, threatening attacks on police stations, disarming law enforcement, and targeting cores and critical infrastructure like fuel pipelines, they stated. In response, we are mobilizing all possible resources to counter these threats and maintain stability, ensuring safety for those who wish to go on about their daily lives without fear. Kehla Sithole's troubles ignited shortly after July's violent unrest, which devastated the economy and claimed over 350 lives, tallying a staggering 50 billion rands in losses. Criticized publicly by Police Minister Kehla for being nowhere to be seen during the crisis, Sithole found himself in the eye of a storm. During a testimony before the South African Human Rights Commission, Sithole pointed to a severe lack of police resources as a critical factor in the chaos that unfolded that July. He disclosed that, before the unrest erupted, the police's crime intelligence unit had no actionable information. Adding to the controversy, he admitted to granting paternity leave to KZN Police Commissioner Ndlandla Mkhwanazi when the civil unrest was at its peak. The rift between Sithole and Kehla has been characterized by heated exchanges and bitter correspondence regarding various issues.
Now, earlier on during your testimony, whilst my learner colleague Mr. Buang was asking questions, you indicated that you have a good professional relationship with the Minister of Police. Is that correct?
Let me say the relationship between me and the minister is governed by rules. And when I responded, I said it is professionally normal. And therefore, in terms of the rules that we follow, our relationship as governed by the rules is normal. I agree.
Sithole and Police Minister Kehla have been at loggerheads for some time now. Just recently, Kehla accused the EFF leader Julius Malema and Sithole of plotting to have him fired. Sithole then denied those accusations and said that he met with Malema to discuss security concerns around the EFF leader about 2 years ago now.
The ultimate blow came when Sithole's contract was terminated, a decision attributed by acting presidential spokesperson Tyrone Seo to the best interest of the country. This termination followed a damning ruling by Judge Norman Davis at the Gauteng High Court in January 2021, which found that Sithole and two of his deputies, Francina Voma and Leboana Tsumane, prioritized the ANC's interests over those of the nation. This judgment was rooted in Sithole's drawn-out efforts to obstruct an IPID investigation into a questionable procurement deal for a surveillance device known as a grabber, which was set at a staggering price of 45 million rands ahead of the ANC's electoral conference in December 2017. Sithole, who took office shortly after the deal discussions began, unwittingly entered a meeting at Pretoria's Courtyard Hotel a month after his appointment by President Jacob Zuma, where the controversial deal was on the table, although he later scrapped it after being alerted by IPED investigators that fateful meeting proved to be a pivotal moment in his career with the South African Police Service. Since then, Sithole has alleged that former police minister Fikile Mbalula played a key role in the push for the surveillance device, painting a picture of high-stakes political maneuvering surrounding the conference. Following the Supreme Court of Appeal's rejection of his appeal, Sithole aimed to take his case directly to the Constitutional Court, aiming to expose the pressures and entanglements that trapped him in the procurement scandal. According to IOL reports, an electronic device designed to intercept phone calls and text messages has cost a staggering 45 million rands, despite similar devices typically selling for only 7 to 10 million rands. This hefty investment was reportedly aimed at influencing voting within the ruling party's upper echelons. In January 2021, Judge Norman Davis ordered Kehla Sithole and 2 senior officials from the South African Police Service to provide several classified documents to IPED as part of a probe into alleged tender fraud and corruption within the police force. However, after a lapse of 3 years without compliance, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced plans to establish a board of inquiry to investigate Sithole's actions. When pressed on the matter, Sithole remarked, "I don't have to disclose whether I should be suspended. That's a conversation for the president. I will reserve comment on that. Yes, I have submitted my representation to the president," he stated to the media. As if this weren't enough turmoil, Sithole has been embroiled in controversy due to claims that rogue officers within the Crime Intelligence Unit were involved in the high-profile assassination of Lieutenant Colonel Carl Kehla in September 2020. Kehla, who was part of an anti-gang unit, was investigating a gun licensing scheme tied to the organized crime that implicated SAPS officials. Leading up to his unaliving, Kehla had alerted SAPS leadership about the rogue unit's activities and detailed how crucial investigations were being obstructed.
Now, questions have been raised about the removal of Kehle's armed security. The investigator had been working on cases involving some of the most notorious gang bosses within the Western Cape province, and a suspect in Kehle's murder has been arrested and is expected to appear in court.
President Cyril Ramaphosa expressed gratitude towards General Sithole, stating, "I appreciate the constructive discussions we've had regarding the termination of his role as National Commissioner. I want to extend my thanks to General Sithole for his dedicated service to our nation over the years within the SAPS. I wish him the best in his future endeavors." In an interview with the SABC, Sithole leveled accusations against former IPED chief Robert McBride, claiming he orchestrated a conspiracy to oust him. Sithole suggested that McBride harbored ulterior motives in seeking his dismissal. When questioned about McBride's intentions, he responded, "It seems he was one of those people lined up to become National Commissioner, though I'm not certain." During the same conversation with the SABC, Sithole asserted his belief that he was always meant to be the National Commissioner. "I never sought promotion. I was simply called in after my interview to present my CV, and through sheer anointment, I was able to persuade the panel of insights I had about policing."
And when things are clarified, nothing is personal. And nothing is about anyone. It's more about SAPS and it's more about the country. And we put the country's interest at heart. And I also want to further indicate that, as the minister explains, to me, from a career corps perspective, he always remains the minister no matter what he says and what he does. And from a discipline's point of view, I can never disrespect